Of the tips I share with you will help you to find new customers. So I just want to start off by saying, if you think that you're going to just sit here quietly and listen to me in your comfy little chairs and not get out of your comfort zone, sorry to tell you, but you're wrong. You're not going to get off that easy. So we're going to stretch our legs a little bit before lunch. So stand up, no talking. We'll try to keep the talking to a minimum so we can get through this, and I can get you to lunch pretty much on time. Okay, now, if you have a business card on you, stay standing. If you don't have a business card, sit down. I'm not judging up here, I'm just watching. If you have a catalog or a product sheet with you, keep standing. This is good, I like to see this. And no cheating with this one. If you have any samples with you, keep standing. Not in the kit. The wins in the kit don't count. I know you just got those this morning. Our numbers are dwindling.
I don't have a sample.
If you are branded with Scentsy, keep standing. This is good. If you got something Scentsy on you, you're branded. If you have a recruiting or possibility pack with you, keep standing.
That I don't have.
Look at all of our prepared people. This is so good. If you have a scent pack or a scent circle or some type of Scentsy product with you, keep standing. Let's give these people a round of applause. And you can all sit down. So the reason why I did this little exercise is because if you're going to find new customers, you can't be Scentsy naked, ever. You don't just give off a Scentsy vibe. When we were driving this morning, no joke, I went, oh, there's a Scentsy lady, oh, there's a Scentsy lady. And it's not because you just gave off this aura of Scentsiness, it's because people were wearing Scentsy shirts, people were carrying Scentsy bags. I saw some people holding catalogs. So you've got to be branded, you've got to have Scentsy products on you at all times in some way, shape, or form to find new customers. So well done to all of you. Thank you for participating. My name's Jamie McVeigh. I've been a star director with Scentsy. I signed up on the very first day that Scentsy came to Australia, which was in 2013. And I have used the products like crazy when I lived in America, moved here, no Scentsy. So true story, I wrote an email to Scentsy asking them to please come here. And obviously they listened. It must have been my email that pushed them over the edge, I'm sure of it. But how many of you have seen those things on the internet where it says, you know, the 5 tips to have a great relationship, or the 1 tip to have a trim belly? And we've all seen those lists, right? And admit it, we've probably all clicked on 1 or 2 of them because they do pique your interest. But what I want you to do now is turn to page 8 of your workbook. And I want you to think about the top 5 things to do to be successful in your Scentsy business. I know there's a lot of things that you can do, but if you had to pick the most important things, what are the top 5? And I'm going to give you a few minutes about 3 minutes to write those down, so put your thinking caps on. And guess what, I'm doing it too up here. I have a very blank workbook. You shouldn't play such good music because I'm going to embarrass myself up here dancing. See me back here on group. Okay, the chattering is starting, so I think we're probably done. You've got 5 things. All right. Why don't we have a couple of you share one of your ideas? Anybody up front and talk loud? Yes, in the back. Know your product. That's great. You definitely need to know what you're selling in order to be successful. Absolutely. Yes. Be positive. Yep. Great one. Put time into it. Yep. We all know that a good business takes time. It doesn't just happen, does it?
Try and try again.
What's that?
Try and try again.
That's right. Never give up. If I would have given up all the times I was frustrated, I wouldn't be here today. So you've got to stick with it. Try again. That's right. Okay, so we all have our lists, but probably the most important thing that you have to do to keep your business going is you have to find new customers, because what happens is you get into a cycle, you get into a really bad cycle. Well, I shouldn't say really bad cycle. You kind of get stuck in the friends and family rut. How many of us have been there or maybe are in the friends and family rut and we can't get out? Yes, it happens to all of us, and this is a pivotal point in our business. If you don't find new customers, you will find your business start to decline. You've got to find new customers who will turn into new hosts and new recruits. So you've got to get out of your comfort zone and overcome your fears about getting those new customers. So I want you to think about some of the places that you have found your very, very best customers. Where have you found your very best customers? Let's, yes. Schools, absolutely. Online. Yeah, I hope you guys are writing these down. Sorry. Your neighbors, absolutely.
Local shopping center.
Shopping center, yeah, because you got your Scentsy stuff with you, you're all ready to give it to them, right? All right, those are all really good examples. For me, my work, absolutely. My very best customers have come from parties, because those people, I have their contact details from their order form, I can follow up, I can do those things. So my very best customers that buy so much from me are from parties. Now, I want you to think about where you can find your potential customers. You now have ideas from your fellow consultants about new places to find new customers. So what I want you to do is think about the places that you're going in the next couple of weeks. Think of everywhere that you go. We are all so busy. Some of us have kids, we've got to go to school, we've got to drop off at soccer, we have to do the grocery shopping, we have to think of all the places, all the appointments, think of everywhere you have to go in the next 2 to 3 weeks, and there's a little space on page 8 for you to write down all the places you think you'll go within the next couple of weeks. And I'll give you a few minutes to write that down. Where are you going to be going in the next couple of weeks? So if you're going to the dentist, my son has a dentist appointment next week, true story. So you think about everybody you will meet. You have to walk up to the receptionist to let them know you're there. So write down the receptionist. You're going to be sitting in the waiting room, probably with a couple other people. So write them down. Then you're going to be in the chair with your mouth like this, mind you, but talk to the dental hygienist who cleans your teeth. Talk to the dentist. Those are all people that you would meet at the dentist. So next to every place, I want you to write down every single person that you're going to see at that place. Go ahead, I'll give you a couple minutes. Awesome, so you have a plan now. You got a plan, you know where you're going, you know who you're gonna talk to. Now, how are you going to do it? That's the big question. That's what you all are probably wondering. So one way to easily break the ice is with samples. And we all know in this business that smelling equals selling. So if we can get Scentsy under people's noses, we know they'll love it, we know they'll buy it because the product speaks for itself. But we have to be there and we have to be willing to give out these samples. So I'll just show you some of the samples that I do. And while I'm getting these out, if you have a sample, feel free to hold it up so everybody can see it, because we all have we have some creative people. Mine are not so creative. One thing I like to do at fairs and shows, because I do a lot of events, is I just put my business card and I staple a little wax sample on it in the little plastic baggie. They're really inexpensive to give out, and that way I can get it to as many people as possible. So that's a really inexpensive way to make samples. Another thing that I do is I do little washer whiff bags. I'll show you that, maybe. So I just do a little sample of washer whiffs with a cute little picture and my contact details saying, enjoy your sample of sun-kissed citrus washer whiffs. And then I put the instructions on the back. And I just get these cards made up at Vistaprint. They're really, really cheap, really easy. And if any of you guys are looking for a place where they have lots of sample ideas, I mean, we're talking like Pinterest level creativity of samples. There's a page on Facebook called Layer on the Samples. And if you want me to add you to it, just send me a message and I can add you to it so that you can have some ideas. Another thing I do is in my possibility packs, I have a product sheet with a sample attached to it. Once again, I am very selective in who I give my catalogs to. I do give out quite a few catalogs, but when I'm giving them out to the masses, when I'm giving samples and product sheets out, they're a lot cheaper, they're a lot more inexpensive, plus it's a beautiful showcase of all of our products, plus I've got that smell there, and the smell, as we know, is what gets them hooked. So who has a sample that they'd just like to share with us, that they have with us? I know there's lots of you with samples because a lot of you are standing. Don't be shy, we're all Scentsy consultants here, we are not shy, come on. Oh, what have you got?
Is she on a bag?
Oh, so Nikita has a wax sample. She did a scent recipe called Melons and Coconuts with Camu Camu and Coconut Cotton. She has the Scentsy bags with the logo. And she prints the label at home on how to use it. Hope you have fun with it. Have fun smelling. So simple, easy. You do not have to do anything complicated. Just as long as people can smell it, that's all that matters.
Felt
now I have an
circles
example.
are really cheap too.
Oh, go for it.
Felt circles are super cheap. I got, I think, 100 samples out of 2 cubes.
Yeah.
So they are cheap as.
Did you use the cotton buds?
No, just little circles.
Just little, yeah. Some
eBay.
people do the shavings and
Yeah. Cheap as.
Thank you so much for sharing. Appreciate that. Now, one thing that I always do, because I learned the hard way, and I'll tell you something that happened to me where I learned the hard way, is whenever you give out a sample, make sure you get people's details. I'll give you an example and then I'll show you what I now do. I live near Bribey Island, I live near Bribey Island, so I bank on Bribey Island at Westpac. So I'm always going into the bank, I'm always, making payments, or I'm depositing money or getting money out. And there was a bank teller there, her name was Julie, and she was always so nice to me. And of course, because I was a wuss, I wanted to bring up Scentsy, but I didn't know how. And I just kept, every time I go in, it always seemed like I was rushed. But if I had made a plan of action, like we're doing today, I would have known what to do. So one day, I opened up my bag to get out the cash that I was going to deposit into my account. And she goes, "Oh my gosh, what is that smell? It smells so good. Is that your perfume?" And I said, "Oh no, that's my washer whiff samples," because I had them in my handbag. So she said, "Oh, what's that?" And of course, that's an opportunity to tell her what washer whiffs are. And she goes, "I really need something like that." She goes, "I've been looking for a washing powder that can cover up the smell of my husband's work clothes because I just can't get them smelling that good." I said, "Oh, this will change your life. Go ahead and give it a try and let me know what you think." And so she did, and she, the next time I went in, because this is where the difficulty came in, because I didn't get her contact details, I wanted to see how she did with, or what she thought of those washer whiffs, but I couldn't because I forgot to get her contact details. So I had to go into the bank 3 more times. I'm sure on their video cameras I looked like a stalker because I looked until it was working, and she wasn't. So, but yeah, I finally got a hold of her again. She goes, "Oh my gosh, I need some of those washer whiffs." And so she placed an order, and she's a regular customer of mine now. So the samples did the selling. I didn't have to do anything. I merely opened up my handbag and she could smell them. So samples really are a good icebreaker. One way to collect people's details, and I learned this from Becca Levi, She is a superstar director in America. She has this amazing video series on YouTube called The Excuse Busters. Have you heard of that? The Excuse Busters? If you have not watched it, you need to look up Becca Levi, Levie, Excuse Busters, because she will give you amazing ways to break the ice and find new customers. But what she does, which is so clever, is she takes these Enter My Drawing slips. I know you guys call it a draw here in Australia. People look at me weird when I say, do you want to enter my drawing? They think I'm going to draw them a picture. But these are available in the Scentsy family store. And these are a way that you can say to people, hey, here's a sample of whatever. And you can say, I'm doing a monthly draw for a free warmer, or pick something that you have laying around. Maybe it's a Scentsy Buddy that you can't sell. It's been sitting on the shelf. You know, I'm doing a draw for a free Scentsy Buddy this month. Would you like to enter the draw? It's totally free. And then you collect their details, and then you have a way to follow up, and you have a way to say, if they didn't win the draw, you can say, hey, you didn't win the draw, but I've got a scent circle for you as a second prize. So, whoops, there goes all my prompts. So that's a really good way to collect people's details. Now, one of the main things I want you to remember from this is don't remain petrified. If you remain petrified and scared of talking to people, you're not gonna get those new customers. And you don't have to do this all in person. You can also get new customers on Facebook by building relationships with them, just as Nikita suggested. A couple of sayings that I really like are 5 new contacts a day, keep sales coming my way, or you can adjust that. 2 new contacts a day, keep sales coming my way. And I want you to think about a goal that you have in giving out your samples, because samples are a really good icebreaker. So think of something that's doable for you. What I started out doing is I had this huge bag of samples. I made my samples and I had like 30 of them. And I stuck them all in my bag and I wanted to give them all away. Now that was really overwhelming. So what I decided to do was I took 2 of my samples out, put them in my handbag, only 2. And I would say, okay, by the time I come home today from running my errands, those samples will be gone. And that was a lot less overwhelming for me to give out 2 samples rather than 30. So think of a goal, make it doable, start small, and then you can build your goal as you get more comfortable talking to people. Now, in your workbook, the last thing I'll have you fill out in here is, I want you to think of the people you know that have never bought from you before. That's the catch. Not your Scentsy customers, not past hosts, not people you've met at events that have bought off of you before. These need to be brand new people that have never bought Scentsy. Think of those people, and on page 9 of your workbook, there's a place to write their names. So if your next door neighbor, you've never talked to her about Scentsy before, write her down. Think of some of the products that she would love. For me, my neighbor, I always see her outside watering her garden. Their grandkids come outside, so I know that she has grandkids. So maybe I could talk to her about Scentsy Buddies, or maybe I could talk to her, give her some scent packs to put in her dresser drawers. Just think of something that they would like and make sure you put their name in that category. So I'll give you a few minutes to do that. People who have never bought off of you before. For today is to find new customers, you've got to plan. So you've already written down those names, you know where you're going, you know potentially who you're gonna meet there. So you've planned where you're gonna go. You need to prepare. So you need to not only prepare samples, but you also need to prepare yourself with some ideas of what you're going to say. No joke, and I learned this in taking a public speaking class way back in the day when I was in college, is practice in front of the mirror. And I practice in front of the mirror whenever I have something big to do, whenever I've got, like for this presentation, I practice in front of the mirror. My husband would walk in the bedroom and go, oh, you're doing that again. I sounded like a crazy lady. Say hi, my name's Jamie, I'm a Scentsy consultant. That's something you might want to start with a presentation like that if you're at an event. Sorry, I'm getting all tongue-tied because I'm starving. So just practice in the mirror what you're going to say, and you'll find that when you go to do it in real life, it doesn't sound so crazy. Or compliment somebody. If you're at the grocery store, you can say, oh my goodness, I really, really love your necklace. Where did you get that? Oh, I have one similar. Oh, you can just start and build the relationships that way. So you plan, you prepare, you make your samples, you practice, and then you've got to get out there and do it. And that's probably the hardest part. But if you've got all of these things done, it becomes a lot easier when you're prepared and you've planned ahead. So yeah, I hope that I've given you at least one good tip to find new customers, and now you have your workbook full of people and places, so go get them. I know you can do it. And if you have any questions or you want to be added to that Layers sample group, just shoot me a message on Facebook and I'll add you. So let's go eat.